Greetings citizens of the world. A few weeks ago we released a video talking about the dangers of the game Pokémon Go. But we didn't provide all the information needed, so we have made a second video about the following. And talking about the privacy problems and conspiracy with the game. Threat to privacy. It goes by the name of Pokémon Go and it is a so-called augmented reality game that allows users to capture, train and battle virtual Pokémon by chasing them around through real-world environments with your smartphone. To put into perspective just how popular this game is, it topped the App Store's top grossing category within 24 hours of its release. Now, just 1 week out, it has been downloaded an estimated 7.5 million times in the US alone and is generating an estimated $1.6 million a day for Nintendo. But here's the truly mind-boggling part, in just the first 2 trading days after the game's release, Nintendo's market value rose a staggering $7.5 billion. That's right, this is not merely a game, it is a phenomenon. For those unfamiliar with augmented reality gaming, it's a type of game where one tracks virtual characters or objects that appear on their smartphones through real-world environments. The Pokémon Go game is prompting scores of people out into the streets to go chasing for wild Pokémon to capture. It is also prompting heists, violence, hoaxes and hysteria. Pokémon Illumination. The more innocuous side, some restaurants and businesses are already trying to cash in on their proximity to spots with a lot of in-game activity. On the less innocuous side, robbers are now using lures, which attract Pokémon to a certain spot, to lure gamers in to be mugged. One 19-year-old hunting for water Pokémon in a rural river ended up uncovering a dead body. One IT executive got fired from his job after an online Facebook tirade inspired by frustration at the game, and one YouTuber who was live streaming the game while out Ubering allegedly saw someone get murdered right in front of him. If you're wondering what's going on here, you're not the only one. It seems the internet is flipping its collective lid over this app as the line between gaming and the real world gets blurrier. But perhaps all of this pales in comparison to the game's terms and conditions. Firstly, the app requires an excessive amount of permissions on a user's device, including the ability to read your contacts, find accounts on your device, and access your camera. The app even requires full access to a user's Google account, which it can then use to read your emails, send emails from your account, browse your Google Drive documents and photos, etc. But apparently that's just a mistake and will be corrected soon. Secondly, the game's privacy policy contains such gems as, we may disclose any information about you, or your authorized child, that is in our possession or control to government or law enforcement officials or private parties. What could go wrong? But wait, it gets worse. Pokémon, the maker of the app. Niantic Labs. If you never heard of them. That's because until last year they were an internal startup of none other than Google, the NSA-linked Big Brother company. Even now Google remains one of Niantic's major backers. Niantic was founded by John Hanka, who also founded Keyhole Incorporated, the mapping company which was created with seed money from In-Q-Tel, the CIA's venture capital arm, and which was eventually rolled into Google Maps. So yes, the Pokémon game currently taking the internet by storm, and scooping up all their data, including activities, movements, and communications, was created by a CIA-linked businessman who gestated his company at Google. Feeling safe yet? As it turns out, the bad Big Brother spies of the NSA and the DHS and the CIA don't really need their Patriot Act powers, after all. All the powers that shouldn't be need to do is create a fun, shiny trinket for the people to play with and they will literally pay for their own surveillance. Still unsure if Pokémon Go's creator is a government spook? Check out this excerpt from the NAS in-house publication, Pathfinder magazine. Companies obtain customer information through avenues such as social media, mobile apps, and customer relationship management software. They might as well be talking about Pokémon Go itself. So what exactly is the New World Order planning to do with our precious and meticulously collected data? They could take a few different paths, though they all boil down to the fact that we're all cogs in Professor Willow's great, big government machine. Considering that one of Big Brother's favorite pastimes is watching its citizens at all times always and forever, Pokémon Go is an ideal vessel for its many, many eyes. It's addicting, kids, adults, and conspiracy-loving bloggers can't seem to put the thing for more than 10 minutes at a time. And it has access to pretty much our entire phone, meaning tons of personal data and monster tracking capabilities. Granted, Pokémon Go has a perfectly legitimate reason to want access to things like your location and camera. It needs the former to put you on the right map and the latter to make use of its augmented reality feature. But with those allowances, Pokémon Go, or rather, its parent company Niantic, not only knows where millions of people are at any given point, they could also very well figure out who they're with, what's going on around them, and where they're likely headed next. Remember, it doesn't take that much to hunt someone down. All it took was one absent-minded tweet for Vice to accidentally reveal the location of former fugitive and bath salts enthusiast John McAfee. Obviously intelligence agencies have gained a lot of info from Google Maps and its Street View, but this data was collected easily with driving cars. Intel agencies may see Google Maps and Street View as just an outline or a skeleton of the whole picture. Getting more data, particularly that off the street and inside buildings, requires tons of man-hours and footwork. A logistical nightmare. Enter Pokémon Go, where if you are an Intel agency and you want photos of the inside of a home or business, you just spawn desirable Pokémon or related objects there, and let totally unaware and distracted citizens take the photos for you, with devices they paid for, and those citizens pay for the experience. Imagine all these photos going back to some database, with the augmented Pokémon removed. Obviously all these photos are probably GPS tagged, as well as having the phone's internal gyro embed XYZ orientation of the camera angle in the phone. These photos could be put together, much like Google Street View. So as you're catching them all with all the other sheep, you very well may be creating a cache of high-res, data-rich images to get siphoned directly into the CIA's greedy little pockets. Just picture it, a year from now when Trump-appointed CIA Director Liam Neeson is trying to figure out who helped the Washington Post reporters escape from prison, all he has to do is call over to Deputy Director Sutherland. Check the Pokédex, he'll say, and up springs a Google Street View-esque simulation of every building, nook, and closet within a 5-mile radius, all updated in real time. So this is just an example of the government plans for the New World Order. As not only we are giving full access to our personal info, we are giving them access to track us down. So ask yourself, who is really being played here?